Rolling Stone Cornerstone blend, how soon do I make clear my needs? Do I nip the first clingy behavior in the bud or let it slide a bit until I see a pattern? Well, that's something you got to kind of feel out for yourself, right? This is sort of like that sort of precarious thing we tend to do, which is looking for red flags, right? The problem with looking for red flags is that we tend to attract them if we're looking for them, right? Sort of like if I asked you right now, take a moment and just look around the room and count how many blue things you see, right? So just look around the room. How many blue things do you see? Okay, I'll do it too. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I see 8 blue things. Now, tell me, how many green things did you see? You don't know. You were looking for blue things, right? So when we go around looking for red flags, like it sounds like you're red flagging clingy behavior. The problem is all you're going to see are clingy behaviors and red flags, right? So I would encourage you to kind of take each moment as it comes and to let yourself kind of sink into your body and to notice in that moment when you witnessed a behavior or someone said something or you felt like, ooh, this feels familiar, that you notice that feeling and that you let yourself sink into the feeling and to kind of wiggle it out a little bit and to let it inform you in some way, right? Because otherwise, we just end up recreating the same scenarios. This is sort of like when people learn about attachment styles, and this was my experience too. You learn about attachment styles, you learn about all these things, suddenly you know why you were in patterns of relationships over and over again, and you're like, okay, now I know the issue. Now I've got all this insight. Now I know the next date I go on, there's no way I'm gonna fall into that pattern. And then you fall into that pattern. And then it repeats again and again. And at first, the person seems to be totally different than all your other relationships. And you're like, yes, I really did it right this time. But then it's like it ends up that, maybe that it turns out that those characteristics are actually secondary characteristics. And it pops up in ways that are disguised in a different way, right? But it's still the same underlying thing, right? This cat wants my attention, like, whoa. This is Sneaky, and I'm surprised she's here because she's usually very sneaky and hides. So I had Sketchy up on a video once before. Sketchy's more of a ham. But so you want to think about that, and I'd encourage you to really use your own discernment with that. So you can just, what was the feeling? What did I feel in my body? What were the thoughts that crossed my mind when I saw that thought, feeling, and or behavior? And you might write about it. You might free associate about it. You might just like drop it into your body and giving it a voice, giving it some kind of shape and personality, asking it where it wants to go inside you. Just taking a look at where it goes. Noticing it. And then asking it for a guidance or a wisdom. And it might be a feeling. It might be a memory that pops into your head. It might be an intuition or a thought. It might be a face or a memory, right? I think I said that. Whatever it is, even if it's static, that's important information too. And if you find yourself being like, I'm just imagining this, that's great, because your imagination is how this part of you speaks to you. So just notice what you imagine. And then you kind of take a snapshot of whatever that is in your mind. And you just kind of like breathe it in. Let that be an understanding and an awareness for you. And just realize that there's no urgency here. You don't have to figure it out instantaneously, right? Yes, I would say listen to your body and your intuition. And then you can think about what popped up for you. You can write about it. You can free associate about it. I actually do something called dominant and non-dominant handwriting, where I'll write the question, what is the deeper awareness and understanding here? And then I'll answer with my non-dominant hand just letting whatever comes up into my mind be the answer, right? And then just sit with it. And also, I encourage you at any time, if you ever feel like you're being pressed to make an immediate decision, or if you ever feel like there's an urgency to decide about someone right away, then you realize that is your attachment system being kind of activated, and it's there's something underneath that's making you feel like, oh, you got to figure this out, because otherwise we're at risk, because otherwise there's a threat here, because otherwise we're wasting time, right? Like, there's no time wasted. There's no time wasted. There's no wrong direction in which you can go. It's all about exploring the contrast in life, and everything you do is going to help flesh out and define your personal boundaries and facilitates your expansion. Okay.